The following episode is brought to you by A Beginner's Guide to Nutrition. Are you struggling to create healthy eating habits and maintain a healthy lifestyle? Do you find it challenging to know what to eat and when to eat it? If so, I have the perfect solution for you. My simple guide teaches you not to demonize food groups like fats and carbs. You will learn what to eat to lose weight and maintain your physique. You'll also discover how to build muscle, endurance, and strength. Taking accountability for your lifestyle is one step in the right direction. Learning to rehabit ourselves and eating this, not that, will also help you become the best version of yourself. Realizing that you need to learn how to eat in order to live in moderation is a challenging admission for some to make. The ability to determine that skipping breakfast sets you up for bad food decisions throughout the day sets you up for success in your fitness journey. But that's not all. After you've learned to create healthy habits and food choices, this book doubles as a food journal. This enables you to meticulously track your meals and have a quick reference on what foods to eat, all in the same place. This is a blueprint to create a newer and healthier you. Don't wait any longer to take control of your health and wellness. Order my guide today and start becoming the best version of yourself. The link will be in the show notes.
Here is your host, Michael.
Hey, welcome to the Michael Nance Audio Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Michael. This is the show where I discuss the most interesting topics in professional sports. On today's episode, man, have I got a good one. I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the thrilling world of soccer and discussing one of the most polarizing teams and in world football, really, and that's Paris Saint-Germain. They are known for their impressive record and, of course, their domestic competitions and their star-studded lineups, but somehow they always seem to fall short. And so I'm going to dive into why I think that is. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. So PSG's most recent Champions League defeat was partly disappointing, as the club had been tipped by so many to go all the way and win their first ever Champions League title. Everybody felt like if it was gonna happen, this was gonna be the year. But they ended up falling short in the Champions League against Bayern. You know, that loss there highlighted their weakness for glamour, despite their wealth of talent. And as the club has repeatedly failed to win the Champions League, it's become more and more concerning. But what's most concerning is a statistic that PSG has lost 5 of its last 9 games. In that league, I just don't understand it. With that embarrassment of high-end talent, I mean, come on. What are they doing? So this brings me to a real question, and I mean this in the most offensive way possible. Have you ever heard anyone say the sentence, "Hey man, I gotta admit, I'm a huge PSG fan"? I gotta be honest, it's never been said in any conversation that I've ever had with a real soccer head. PSG is one of those unique clubs in a sport that is really all about its clubs. But most people who are fans of PSG, they really support that club primarily for its talents. For some reason, PSG is just different. They buy the best talents from the biggest clubs, and PSG somehow seems to be a club full of the brightest stars, but people are only fans of those stars. My Case in point here, Mbappe is a brand that has really transcended. He's bigger than the club. He's bigger than PSG. You can make an argument that so is Neymar, and we know Messi is bigger than PSG. Now, I like Hakimi a lot, and I can't necessarily make the argument that Hakimi is bigger than PSG. You could also make the argument that Sergio Ramos is, and to anybody who primarily knows the club through FIFA, you can even make the argument that Renato Sanchez is bigger than PSG because he's brought his own level of fandom into that club. Whether you like it or whether you believe it or not, I believe that to be true. But anyways, we can blame injuries. We can blame a lack of depth in their squad, which I think is the real problem. But that has been a significant challenge for them. But the impact of injuries on their lineup has been significant as many key players have been sidelined. That is a fact. However, while injuries are a part of the game, their lack of depth has made it difficult for them to cope. The club's struggles to sign just a basic central defensive midfielder have really left them vulnerable on the back line. And they have been forced to play players out of position, or they've been forced to call up youngsters from their academy, which are risky moves in high-stakes Champions League games, which are the games that they ultimately want to play on a consistent basis. Now, as such, PSG's lack of depth has been a major weakness that has really hindered their performances. And of course, with the hindrance to their performances comes the hindrance to their results. But in reality, though, I believe it's their own fault. We know there's no salary cap here in the world of soccer, but financial fair play creates some real restrictions. And PSG, they need to field a complete squad and not just put out a squad with a ton of flash, but no real substance to go along with it. Did you see Messi's performance in that Bayern matchup? I've read some articles that seem to flatter him and his performance, but I think he looked disinterested. I think he looked unmotivated. I think he looked to be unbothered. Like, he straight up looked like he didn't even want to be out there. We have seen what a motivated, highly motivated Lionel Messi looked like just 4 months ago at the World Cup. So now you're trying to tell me that he's cooked? I'm not saying that. And I don't believe he's cooked, but he played like he was cooked in the Bayern game, or at least he looked like he didn't want to be there. But that was just 4 months ago. He's still got a lot left in the tank to give. But it's also clear that the club's real lack of direction seems to have an impact on where he thinks the club is going. And Messi wants to be the centerpiece. I have seen Messi's dad having to play damage control on social media by defending his son against claims that he's going to Al Hilal in the Saudi league for a $600 million contract. And he's also having to defend Messi for reportedly, allegedly storming out of training session because he doesn't seem to get along with the manager. Now, that thing between Messi and Gaultier, like, that is real. And I want to be very clear here. I don't know what is going on there. I can't figure it out. Everybody close to them, too close to Messi, has really kept that part of the deal under wraps. I don't know why Messi and the manager don't get along. But PSG's recruitment strategy and their criticisms of Luis Campos's recruitment strategy have also come under some major scrutiny. Some have even argued that places too much emphasis on individual talents rather than building a full cohesive team. And that's led to these underwhelming performances from some of their recent signings. A successful recruitment strategy has to strike a balance between like individual talent and team building, while also really taking into account the unique needs and circumstances of the club. By doing so, a club can create strong and successful a full squad that is capable of achieving great things. Paris Saint-Germain is a club facing an uncertain future, with several factors contributing to their uncertainty. The club is facing potential departures of its three top players, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and Neymar Jr. The loss of any one of those players would be a significant blow to their chances of coming into some success next season. But in addition to the potential player departures, there's also uncertainty surrounding the club's ownership. The uncertainty has led to real questions about the club's long-term stability and its ability to compete at the highest levels of professional football. Now, these challenges come at a time when the club is already dealing with the financial impact of COVID-19, and it's making it even more difficult for the club to maintain its position as one of the top teams in Europe. So my suggestion, burn it all down to the ground. Hire a sporting director with a real vision, allow them to find a manager to execute that vision, and say what you want about Chelsea's spending, but they at least have a plan. You got to find the best young talents in the game and accumulate a squad full of those young talents with a sprinkle of some proven veterans to create some magic and then see what goes on from there. But I say all of this because the squad that they are fielding right now is full of contentment. And that is the single most dangerous intruder you can have inside a club. And there is no one or thing pushing those great players to continue to be great. And Mbappe knows that he's not going to get benched if he puts up 2 or 3 straight disappointing performances. So does Messi. So does Neymar. Those players need to be pushed, motivated, and fear is the best motivator, in the words of Winston Churchill. All the money and yes men and being able to pout your way into getting what you want does not make you work harder. None of that pushes you to be great. Get a manager in there that will stand up to the players and will be supported by management. And if a player in the squad doesn't like that, then you get rid of them too, because they will be an enemy of progress. PSG does not need a brilliant tactician of a manager. They need someone whose greatest strength is managing egos and is good at getting the best out of his players. Despite these challenges, though, PSG will undoubtedly be looking to bounce back next season and make another push for a European trophy. With some of the world's best players in their squad, including Neymar and Mbappe, team has the talent to compete with anyone on their day. But only time will tell if they can finally break their Champions League curse and lift the trophy that has eluded them for so long. So, what do you think of PSG's recent failures? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for tuning in to my show, and I'll catch you later. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Michael Nance audio experience. Subscribe to the show so you never miss a future upload.